So we finished last Thursday with Reagan's Operation Urgent Fury. And just to recap, offer a quick recap, he stated that he was acting under his constitutional authority to swiftly commit troops to Grenada. And presidents after Reagan, they've not sought any sort of formal consultation with Congress before committing troops. Acting consistent with the law, but not in the spirit of the law, as I mentioned. Are you all right? You're just having a day, huh?
It's gonna be one of those days.
I see. I understand. I have them a lot. Especially after the brain surgery. People start hacking on my brain, things just start going away. I feel you. But they've just kind of said, all right, Congress, we're committing troops now to Afghanistan. You want to do something about it? That's kind of been the mindset. So the invasion of Grenada is often cited as an example of President Reagan's decisiveness and action against the expansion of communism. But was it really? That's for you to decide. But undoubtedly, our invasion of Grenada did deny communism a foothold in the Caribbean and restored a parliamentary government in Grenada. Two very important things. But was it in the American national security interest? What is America's national security interest? Anybody know?
Freedom.
Freedom? It's very vague.
Yeah.
I couldn't hear you, I'm sorry.
Making sure our citizens don't die.
Making sure our citizens don't die, okay. Your Royal Highness? Any ideas? No? No. It's an ambiguous term, which the national security interest is really whatever the president of the day says it is. So in this case, Operation Urgent Fury, was anything going to happen to those students at the American Medical School? I really, honestly do not think so. Was that a pretext? Almost certainly it was a pretext. But, we got this out of it. Denied communism a foothold, got a parliamentary government back in Grenada. Maybe that was okay. I don't know. That's not for me to judge. The invasion, though, was regarded as a return to the vigorous exercise of war powers by the president. That's another fact. Because Papa Bush did it after Reagan, Clinton used them going to Kosovo, Baby Bush, he's a 70-year-old man, Bush the younger, Bush the Younger went into Afghanistan and Iraq. Obama went into, where'd Obama go? Libya. Trump, Yemen. I think Biden's really the first one that's pulled us out of anything. We might have scaled down, but I don't think we've ever come out fully until Afghanistan. But that came with its own set of problems, which would take a whole class period to discuss. So we come to the cabinet. What is the cabinet? This is the cabinet room in the background. If you're interested, what is the cabinet and what do they do?
Aren't they like his advisors?
They are his advisors. Very good. And what do they advise him on?
There's one like national defense.
Defense. Yeah, that's one.
I don't know. Isn't it like a room full of people?
It's a room full of people. Yes, very good. So it's a room full of advisors that advise the president on just things. Yes, he may require the opinion in writing of the principal officer in each of the executive departments upon any subject relating to the duties of their respective offices. So that's the constitutional authorization for the cabinet. Now, the cabinet is a collective of At bare bones, if you're just talking about agency heads, 15. I'm going to click over and it's going to say 16. I know it. But 15 executive agencies that make up the executive branch: defense, state, treasury, interior, all agriculture, just to name a third of them. And they advise the president on those specific things. The Secretary of Agriculture would advise him on agricultural matters, whatever those might be. I don't know. The Secretary of Defense on defense matters. Those people are also in the presidential line of succession. So they run the cabinet agencies on behalf of the president, because the president has enough on his plate without having to deal with running the cabinet agencies too. Mr. Andrews.
What are some examples of cabinet agencies? The Department of State, Department of Defense, those?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Department of Treasury. We're going to go through them right now.
Yeah.
The Department of Justice. So there's no formal requirements for any sort of get-together. Good old Joe Biden just says, hey, I want the cabinet together. Ron Klain, his chief of staff, says, all right, sir. They'll come together, and then drags Biden off to a cabinet meeting. And it's, they could happen once a year. It could happen every week. It could happen once a month. It's just up to the president of the day.
Does the president call every time, like call the meeting every time? Or can it be like one of the agencies?
Yes and yes.
Okay.
So the president could call it. A cabinet head could decide they have something important to discuss that maybe would be better suited for the whole cabinet instead of just a meeting with the president. Yeah. So I mean, yes and yes. So the cabinet, these could, be anything. Serious meetings. We're going to war. Or self-congratulatory type events where, they get the press together, they take a lot of pictures, talk about how great they all are. That you know what I mean. You know what I'm talking about, Abby. Yeah, they talk about how great they all are, how wonderful they are, how they've saved the country from the depths of inflation and unemployment, either of which they're doing. And then they take a lot of pictures. So the cabinet agencies and their heads are as follows. Now count these, Mr. Andrews. All right. Because I'm doubting myself. It's 15, but it very well could turn out to be 16. All right. So the Secretary of State, led by Anthony Blinken at the moment. Remember Blinken's name.
Should we know the name for each?
I'll tell you. You know the names of these three. These are the big three: state, treasury, and defense. Those are the big three. Those are the ones that will be in the news more often than not. And I feel that is part of my duty as the person you entrusted to get your civics education from, that you should know, at the very least, if you turn on the news sometime and they say Janet Yellen, you should know who Janet Yellen is. Anthony Blinken. Anthony Blinken's in the news a lot right now with the Ukraine crisis. Lloyd Austin, not so much, but he could be. What?
I just think the name Lloyd is so.
So remember those three: State, Secretary Blinken; Treasury, Secretary Yellen; Defense, Secretary Austin. That will, I guarantee you, be on the test, which, by the way, will not be on April 14th. The date listed in the syllabus. Did you want a test on your birthday?
No, I said it's 4 days before my birthday.
Oh, the test will come after we finish the. I mean, I could give you a quest if you'd like. A quiz test. No,
I'm okay.
you're okay. You what? Thanks though. Okay. All right. The next test will, in all honesty, probably be the final, but I'll let you know. I'll let you know if something comes up before then. You'd be fine with that.
We're on board.
All right, they're all on board. All right. You poor unfortunate souls watching this don't get a say because these people in the room are all on board. That's right. And that's another good civics lesson. Decisions are made by those who show up. And these 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, these 12 showed up. All right. Justice. This is the only one where the guy is not called secretary. Attorney General Merrick Garland. Interior, agriculture. You don't need to remember these names. My point is just to show you the breadth of the cabinet. Commerce, labor. Not that these guys aren't important. It's just they're not as important as the big three. Department of Health and Human Services, Housing and Urban Development, Transportation, still run, I think, by Mayor Pete.
People with weird names. Fudge, Secretary Fudge. Woo! That's a cool name.
Department of Energy, Education, Department of Education, Department of Veterans Affairs, Department of Homeland Security. Now, how many is that? Did you count, Cadence?
Yes.
And how many is it?
15.